Hello. This topic tortures us. Tortures us. Tortures us. And it will be all I can do to not make this an hour-long video, because I could talk for days on this topic. But I'll try to keep it to the 15, whatever minute. I try to stay, in a reasonable time. But how do I get over this jealousy for the new supply is a question we've all dealt with, we've all struggled with, we've all had to wrestle with. This is such a natural feeling. I do not want to dismiss this. I want to help you handle it. But I do want to acknowledge the jealousy for the new person can be overwhelmingly debilitating in a space we exist that we wish we didn't. It's a horrible feeling. And oftentimes it's beyond anything we can ever even picture getting through or finishing feeling about. Like we just think we're destined to be jealous of that person forever. Murders happen from this emotion. It's very real. I'm here to try to help you see things differently, if I may. Does the new supply really win? What did they win? I got a lot to say about that. You know I do. We oftentimes suffer extreme devastation at the thought of someone they took our person. They're with our person now. What are they saying to the new supply? How can they say that? It's killing me. I've got to know what's going on. We snoop on social media. For those of you that have a crossover on social media, I do not. But if you do, we search for clues. You already know what's going on. You don't need to investigate to know. You know it's never less than what you thought. Stop looking. Stop investigating. You know you're not going to find out that he's alone, pining away, crying, waiting for you to decide it's okay for him to come back. Is that what you think? When I discarded mine, I knew he was right back out there in the world. Not for 1 millisecond did I think he was home alone, pining away for me, like he was trying to tell me he was. Like I think he said he did with the first breakup. Oh, I lost 13 pounds. I've never felt that way. Okay. Okay. All right. He's always going to make it look like also, if he's not trying to convince you of that, he's always going to make it look after you, once he has moved on, that he's having the time of his life. Right? Just as much as he was trying to convince you he was so devastated. Now they're going to make you think, okay, you know what? I'm having the time of my life. This is self-torture for you to try to even look into his life and see the pretend time of his life that he's trying to make you think he's having. He's continuing to inflict harm on you even though he's not even with you anymore, if you're allowing him to do that. If you're allowing them to be back into your space to torture you with stuff. The new supply loses also, eventually. And what they experience in the meantime is the same torturous stuff that you did. They don't change and suddenly behave for the next person. My ex-narcissist was married a couple times. He wronged the 15-year, I'm very careful never to say names. He wronged the 15-year wife that had his 2 sons with new supply, married the new supply. She raised his 3 kids because the first wife left him with the kids. She was so mad. Guess what? Technically, in that case, I guess that she didn't win. She didn't win. She left, but she did win. The new supply is the winner in this case. I bet that first wife was incensed beyond belief that it felt that way at the time, that she lost, and that the new supply won, if we're going to use winning, right? She left after 15 years, and she spared herself the next 15 years, which were awful for the next wife. Everyone loses with a narcissist. Nobody wins. The new supply didn't win in this situation. And the first wife didn't win either. Her win was when she finally left him. She spared herself the next 15 years that the new supply got of torture. So she did win by leaving him. That's what's funny. We spend so much time being so upset about new supply. I'm sure that woman looks back in it now and goes, thank God I did what I did when I did it. But at the time, I'm sure she was crushed and felt she was losing. And maybe, I don't know, maybe she was jealous of the new supply. Well, I bet she's not jealous now, because here that second wife is in the same exact position that she was. We should take pity for the new. Now, if she stole him from you, okay, but did she even know that she stole him? If she did know, then okay, you can detest them because that's not nice. But to be jealous? No. No and no. In fact, you should feel superior for having been through it already. You're done. He can't touch you. You're healing. I know it's a long road, but you are healing. They still have it coming. I'm not trying to be gleeful. I feel bad that they have it coming. And that's what I mean when I say take pity. They still have it coming. You're out. Even if you have lingering feelings you're working on, they no longer can bestow the cruelty upon you that they can and will to the new supply. Just think of that. Think of all of what she has down the road once he gets bored or antsy or craves variety or craves chaos. He hasn't changed. He didn't find his end all. Narcissists don't find an end all. They search forever, even if it looks like they got locked down with something like as big as marriage or a baby even. Mine used to say, I wish you could have my baby so you couldn't leave me. Ugh, I'd say, bite your tongue. I'm over 50 years old, bite your tongue. Not to mention, no, I have one child. I wanted one, that's it. I wouldn't have a second child, I said. I told him that right out. I wanted to make sure he knew that. I go, not for nothing. Even if I were 30, I wouldn't have a child with you. I wanted one in my life. Like, I wanted to make sure he knew it wasn't just because of age. No, sir. And I wouldn't have a child with that man. Ugh. Would never have. He used to say it all the time. But regardless of what they do with the new, experience with the new, you hear about with the new, jealousy should not be your reaction. Think of what they used to say to you. And that didn't mean anything. They've moved on. Whatever they're saying to her doesn't mean anything either. He's probably saying to the new supply the same line he gave me. Oh, I wish I could have my baby so you could never leave me. It's probably a line he says to every single girl. Don't be jealous of that. They're not winning. That is not a winning spot. That is not a winning spot. That is not a position over which you should have any envy. You know, how did you look to the world when you were going through it? I bet many times you looked fine. You looked happy. You looked elated even, which is what you're seeing the new supply look like. You might have seen a picture of them. You might have heard a story. Oh, they were laughing. Or they got married. Or they had a baby. Behind closed doors, he was destroying you. Even when you looked happy, elated, and just fine. That new supply might have a smile on her face, a baby in her arms, a wedding ring on her finger. Guess what? She's going through the same thing you did. And when you think that through, when you think it through to its completion, that requires you understanding they are going to go through the same stuff. Maybe it won't have the same script. The script of torture has to change depending on her personality, right? Because they mimic you, they mirror you, they bounce things off of you. So their story might not be the same, but it's not going to be smooth. It's not going to be smooth. My narcissist has had a torturous year with his new supply, meaning he's tortured her. I know. He would call me. I would get the result, this end of it. She did that. Just the truth he told me, I was like, that poor girl. Let alone him trying to hit on me, him trying to be with me, him sometimes being with me. It was an interim period where she had no idea. I had no idea he was but I'm saying, he was playing them both. Poor girl. I don't want anyone ever to be jealous of the new supply. It's an easy feeling. It's a natural feeling. But I think if we think it through with this isn't your run-of-the-mill, but I met my dream man. I really thought I met my dream man, and now he found somebody else. That can happen in life. Not everybody likes you, who you like. Not everyone you like is going to like, that's the way life goes, and you might be brokenhearted for a little while, but you'll get over it. If it's a narcissist, they're going to misbehave with every person. That it's not a regular person that you fell in love with and they're with somebody else and you're jealous because you think he's such a good guy, the one that got away, I shouldn't have broken up with him. That can be a healthy amount of lesson learned, whatever. The vengeful jealousy that a victim of narcissistic abuse can feel for the next person is beyond the scope of normalcy. And we got to get a handle on it because there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. She's not winning over you. He didn't pick her over you. It's not that at all. Circumstances led him to land there. Circumstances being any one of the 300 and something videos we've made. You caught on. His mask dropped. He knew you didn't see him the same way. He needed somebody to revere him. All those reasons, whatever they are, they landed him there. Has nothing to do with the new supply either. I don't care how perfect you think she is. Oh, she's cute. It's because she's younger. It doesn't mean he's not going to torture her eventually. And again, I don't wish for that for anybody. That does not make me gleeful. Now, if he tortures her with narcissistic behavior and she flat out, was your friend and betrayed you and went with him behind your back and stole your man, you can have other feelings of hatred towards a person like that. But your average run-of-the-mill, he went out and met somebody after you, there's no reason to be jealous for that person or hate that person. No reason. You have to remember all of the things that he did to you. Are you jealous of those things or some simulation thereof of those things being done to her? When you think of jealousy, you're thinking of the love bombing. She's going to get all that attention, all that love, all those things he said to me. I can't believe he's saying them to her. They're manufactured. They don't mean anything. I'm not going to be jealous of somebody that's getting empty things. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the example I said a minute ago where you knew somebody, he truly was wonderful, you parted ways, maybe you let him go and he really loved you. And now he's married to somebody else happy and you think, oh, the one that got away, I made a bad move there. And you get like tinges of, oh, I wish I was still with him. That is almost understandable because the guy's a good guy. And the girl he married is a nice girl. And they seem to have a happy life together. And you're kicking yourself because you're going through something saying, the one that got away. We always hear about that. The one that got away. And why did I break up with that person? Okay, fine. I get that. Those feelings, I understand those. This is a guy that wronged you. It wasn't a nice guy. He thought he was, but he wasn't. So now he's on to making the next person think that he is. You're sitting in a better spot, my friends. You are sitting in a better spot. We are all better off knowing. We are all better off knowing the truth. We're all better off on the other side of it. Nothing on earth makes me want to be in the spot of his new supply. Nothing on earth. Nothing. And when I think of love bombing, I think even more, I feel like, ugh, because anyone that can end up behaving the way that he did and start out saying that is absolutely the lowest of the low, and even more duplicitous than I can even imagine a person being. Do not be jealous of the new supply. Do not. I don't care what you see or hear or think is going on. If they're with a narcissist, they're with a narcissist. A narcissist has a cycle. Even if it takes 15 years for it to come to a head, they're going to end up miserable. And the more time they're with them, the more time they're wasting, because it will end in disaster. Even if it doesn't end and they stay together, tortured through it. Maybe they make it more than 15 years. Some of you have made it 30, 40, all your lives. Some never leave. Some never leave. Did they win? Did they win? Because they got the narcissist for life? You think that's a win for them? Or do you think had they not have been with the narcissist, they may have gone out in the world and found somebody else that would have been perfectly suited for them? Now, everything happens for a reason, and I understand that, and I'm very much into that. So if you ended up with a narcissist for 40 years and it gave you 3 beautiful children, then that's your reason. Okay, fine. But for the most part, the person that ends up with the narcissist, they're not winning. There's nothing to be jealous of. And not just because you're going to sit and wait for rotten things to happen to them. That's not what I mean. They're with a narcissist. They lose. Everyone loses when they're with a narcissist. Nobody wins. I just thought I'd mention that.